Thank you. I'm assuming the massive influx of investors in the last couple of minutes is because we've all heard about the exciting opportunity in Kazakhstan, and everyone wants to know a little bit more about that, but also I think represents why the conference is called One-to-One. But let's go through it. Kazakhstan today is Western Australia, but in the 1950s, and someone from 70s, and someone from SRK argued with me, it's more like the 1950s. So what we did was came in and pegged 700 square kilometres in the middle of Kalgoorlie, as well as another 700 square kilometres in the middle of one of the most prolific and high-grade VMS belts in the world. The country has so far released 700,000 square kilometres available to peg on first come, first serve. And at the end of this year, they'll be opening up the rest of the country, which is about 2.65 million square kilometres, next to some of the most profitable and high-grade mines in the world, including mines like Polymetal, with an EBITDA of $465 million last year that makes up 40% of their production. EBITDA. We came in a number of years ago. We listed in January. Since then, we've made 3 gold discoveries on 1 licence, 1 with historic drilling, 2 with our own drilling, coupled with some additional historic results which we've found since listing. And we're currently working on a number of the other projects and have a very, very extensive campaign this year. I'm based full-time in Almaty, as is my team. And this is an absolutely wonderful place to explore. In terms of operating costs, in terms of logistics, in terms of people expertise, you cannot ask for a better set of conditions. Still some improvements to be made, tweaks to the mineral law, which we're all working on, but certainly nothing prohibiting a junior company coming in and getting stuck in and having very, very successful results. So we RTO'd in January. We raised £3.1 million into a company that already had a few million pounds after all said and done, and we paid the lawyers and the brokers. We had about 4.1 in cash. Backed by an Australian family office, the Flannery family, they're at 17%. I'm at 11%, with the remainder of the board and management moving up to 12.5%, and otherwise a very, very tight capital structure. I've dropped in on Kazakhstan. The biggest movers here have been Fortescue Metals Group. In the last couple of years, they've acquired now 46,000 square kilometres and are absolutely going to town on large-scale exploration in Kazakhstan, because they know that there has been no major discoveries in this country for 30 or 40 years, not because there's nothing to be found, but because there's been a huge, distinct lack of any exploration, in particular, large-scale methodical exploration on absolutely defined and prolific mineral belts. We're focused on 3 areas currently. We've recently just acquired the 3rd area. The first 2 is in Chu-Ili orogenic gold belt. The second 2 are in the Rudny Altai volcanic massive sulfide belt. We've recently acquired a licence in East Kostanay region, which has a historical heavy rare earths ionic clay deposit. The belt's been mined extensively over the years. The Russians and pre-Russian era Soviets have mapped the area incredibly well, and they mined the high-grade gold at surface. They followed veins until they lost it. They then discovered intrusive related gold system concepts and found disseminated gold in ore, although that's very poorly understood, with only the Akbakai mine owned by Altai starting to comprehend that and mining some gold, disseminated gold. But otherwise, it's been all very, very high-grade veins. We're introducing the concept of potential classic orogenic systems into this as well. And we do have some of those targets on our Southern Dalny licence in particular. So this is what we've done on Atmintas. We flew last year 100 metre spacing drone mag. We drilled 3,127 metres in what was an absolute reconnaissance drill program. Before we drilled, we had rock chip samples, we had artisanal workings, and we had geological mapping. And now we have 2 discoveries, 63 metres at 4.51 grams at our Novo project, and 14 metres at 2.54 on Eshkilital 2. The other discoveries, Southern Shabda, and those other results you see in Eshkilital 2 are from historic gold results, which we've acquired in historic data since listing. The Novo target looks fantastic. We drilled 12 holes in this region and under-drilled it significantly because the RC drilling in Kazakhstan is very difficult to do at depth. So we thought we'd get 100 metre plus holes, and instead we got 60 to 70 metre holes. But we snagged it, 63 metres at 4.51. Now it's largely carried by one particular intersection, which is 2 metres at 131 grams. So for those of you doing the maths, you see the rest of the core isn't particularly well carried, but it did start at surface. It is all in oxide, and it did end in mineralisation. So what we actually have is we have a series of quartz veins that carry significant grade, 4 of them, one in particular, and then the remainder of the ore body, about 30 odd of the 63 metres, averages out through about 0.5 gram. So what we see here is the potential for quite a decent open pit where the high grade gets stripped out and put through a gravity plant, and the low grade gets put on an oxide heap leach. And in the north of the country, in Kostanai, heap leaches are operating at sub $1,000 an ounce, and they have to shut for 5 months of the year because it's so cold. So we think there's real potential here. The historic rock chips as well show some potential strike in a relatively small area. But more importantly than that, and as I say, all of that's under-drilled, will be coming in from the southwest because we believe it's a southwest dipping structure. More importantly than that is the trend along strike, which is untouched. 60% of this license is undercover. So we are currently doing soil samples further along strike to the north and west. And we're also doing close space, 25 metre space ground mag to shore up our collar locations for drilling that is due to commence in July. Southern Shabda, very similar. Similar concept altogether, under-drilled, misunderstood, and very high-grade gold, which did not assay the host rock that was not quartz. So they got 1 metre at 29 grams, 2 metres at 39 grams, which is very, very nice results, particularly within 50 metres of surface. And they didn't look at anything other than that high-grade quartz. So we think there's a real potential here for size and scale, as well as the high-carried grades. I also highlight 2 metres at 39 grams from about 180 metres downhole, so quite clearly these systems plunge. And our friends at Akbakai, which is mining about 60,000 ounces a year, have demonstrated that with their mines, been operating for the last 60 years. Our Dalny licence is a little bit earlier stage, much larger, 470, 480 square kilometres. We have an intrusive related gold system here and up in the north east called the Alatigal Group of Occurrences. And if we were an Australian company, and this was our asset, I'd probably have about 5 slides on that particular area, but in our portfolio, it takes a little bit of a back seat. It is exciting, but also in particular as exciting is the potential for classic orogenics here. So we now have a series of targets undercover with 2 to 3 intersections of first order faults with gold, historical gold recorded at surface. So there's gold in the system. It didn't come from an intrusive because there is none in the vicinity, so it has to have come from somewhere. So it's early stages, but we're pretty excited by the potential of that. One target in particular, Genus, is a 7 by 1 kilometre anomaly. It is a mag anomaly from our own drilling, a mag target, sorry. It has an IP and resistivity anomaly from historical work, and it also has an arsenic geochemical anomaly, and it's essentially undrilled, 3 drill holes which didn't go anywhere near the anomalies in the past. So it's some exciting targets, but very early stage. We've just farmed into a heavy rare earth project, which we're really excited by. You know, from a peer comparison basis, this is in essence, it's a free deal for us. The farm-in hasn't cost us anything. We need to spend $500,000 before we earn 51%, and if we choose to go that far, then we give $250,000 US dollars in cash at the US dollars in shares in the VWAP at the time. Exactly the same expenditure to go to 75%. So it's in essence a free option to test the heavy rare earth space. We're really excited by this because there's no critical hurdles that we've seen to date. This is an absolute spitting geochemical image of the projects in southern China. We need to do the work to confirm that, but everything about this screams southern China heavy rare earth. It obviously has exploration upside. It's obviously heavily de-risked, so we find that quite exciting. This is where it sits on the cost curve. Generally, these deposits are the highest in terms of basket of goods, $80,000 a tonne, and the lowest in CapEx because they have no environmental footprint. They're very low environmental footprint, very, very shallow. Ours is about 7.5 metres average start depth. Clays, no crushing, no grinding, no mills, which obviously means lower power costs as well. And no uranium or thorium. And lastly, some greenfields exploration in one of the highest grade, most prolific volcanic massive sulfide belts in the world. Very strategic here. Everything here is in place. Road, rail, international airports, smelters, 2 mills, one owned by Glencore and one owned by Kaz Minerals. Both of them are hungry. So any discovery here not only is fantastic because it has a tremendously low economic threshold for development, but it also has strategic appeal from 2 mill owners within 50 to 60 kilometres, both of which have very, very hungry mills. So we love the look of this. We've had some farming interest for it, which we'll look at, but we are about to start a HEM survey anytime to start delineating targets, and we hope to expand our footprint in this region. There we are. We're well funded. Hopefully we've got more high-grade results to come. It's early days, but we've pegged 700 square Ks in the heart of Kalgoorlie in a region that has some of the lowest mining costs in the world. I'm talking 12 cents for fuel. I'm talking 5 cents a kilowatt hour for energy, relatively low labour costs, and some of the cheapest rail in the world. So we are very, very lucky to have a strong footprint in Kazakhstan. Board, I'm based in Kazakhstan. That's our technical team. Azamat was the ex-head of exploration for Freeport-McMoran in country. Very, very good experts. And Rainer Elmies is our rare earth expert. He's currently building a rare earth mine in Namibia. There we go. Kazakhstan, please get on board. It's a very exciting place to be. Thanks for your time.